Hey guys, welcome back. So, in this video series, we're going to learn about Elementor containers. So, Elementor container is a new and a very groundbreaking update that Elementor team has released recently. So, the technology behind this Elementor container is very popular, already popular among developers. It is nothing but Flexbox and CSS Grid, right? So, they in the sense Elementor developer or Elementor team is trying to bring that technology to Elementor. If you have some basic understanding of how Flexbox works, how Grid works, then this Elementor container you will easily understand. But even if you have no idea with HTML, CSS coding, then you don't have to worry. I'll try to cover everything inside this few videos that we'll be creating, that we'll be learning in detail of what exactly this container is and how to create complex layouts by using Elementor container. So by till now we used to create sections and columns, basically web pages by using sections and columns and inner sections, right, to align stuffs, right? So but from now onwards we'll try to use a container because that is the future. Right now it is in a still experimental phase. You can go ahead in your dashboard and disable this container so that the intersection and intersection or sections or columns, that building block of how web pages are to be created will be enabled. The option will be enabled, but this is the future. So Elementor team is really serious about it, so they will slowly shift to containers only approach in nearby future. So first question is, what will happen to those websites which were created using sections and columns? They will not be affected. You don't have to worry, right? So, but then whatever new sections, new layouts, or new sections you need to create inside your web page, then you'll have to use this widget called as container only. That is what they are trying to achieve. Anyways, let's go ahead and start our series on Elementor container. So how to add Elementor container? First thing is, you simply click on this plus icon here and just either you select these predefined layouts or you select random, anything random, this blank layout, right? It's as simple as that. Or you can simply do one thing. You can simply click here and simply drag one more, sorry, you can simply drag this widget here inside this, so it will create a container for you, right? So adding container is as simple as that. But before we proceed to our next video, this is it for this video. We'll take things step by step. So in our next video, we'll try to understand more advanced concepts. But before that, there are some concepts that you need to uh, understand before we proceed to our next video. I want to draw your attention to this particular video, this particular image here. If you see, you just ignore these bottom two images. You simply focus on this first two images. See, if there is this particular box, we say this as a container, right? Flexbox container or container in general. So if this is a container, there is this property called as flex direction. We will have to assign direction to every containers that we will be creating from here onwards. So direction either can be row or column. Okay. So direction is row. If the direction flex container direction is row, then main axis will be row. If the flex direction is column, then the main axis will be column. So what did you understand here? That you need to understand that if the direction is row, main axis will be row. If direction is column, main axis is column. And whatever the direction this main axis has, the opposite is called as cross axis. Simple. If main axis is row, cross axis will be vertical. If main axis is vertical, then cross axis will be horizontal, right? See, don't get confused here. What are the three things that we have learned here? First is flex direction. flex direction is the property of every flexbox container that we will be creating here onwards, right? So it is mandatory for you to define, for you to set a direction to every container that you'll be creating. So here, if we set direction to row, this is row, this is column, right? So if we set direction to row, then main axis will be row, and column here, this vertical, will be cross axis. This is just an imaginary axis that we need to understand so that we can visually predict the uh, functionality of this flexbox in future. So here, if same thing, if we set direction to column, so then what will happen? Main axis will be column and cross axis will be horizontal, right? So what are the three things that we have learned so far now? First thing is flex direction. We will have to set this flex direction always to every container that we'll be creating. This is mandatory. Either it can be row or it can be column. Column is also called as vertical. Row is also called as horizontal. So if we set flex direction to row, if we set flex direction to row, what will happen? First thing is main axis will be row or horizontal. So if we set flex direction to column, what will happen? Main axis will be column or vertical. So this is what we have learned, right? So if you see here, if the flex direction is set to row, then main axis is also row. If the flex direction is set to column, then main axis is the column. The opposite will be, the main axis is row, opposite is cross axis. The main axis is column, opposite is cross axis. So what exactly this main axis will do, what exactly the cross axis will do, we will see that in later videos. But in this video, this is the concept that you need to just memorize by heart. Whatever you want, you can do, but this is a shortcut that will be helpful, really helpful in our further videos, right? So if main axis is row, then cross axis will be column or vertical. If main axis is column, then opposite will be cross axis, will be row or horizontal here, right? So this is the logic that you need to understand till here in this video. Okay, first thing is flex direction. What is flex direction? Flex direction is a property that we need to assign to every container. There is no option to not assign, because flexbox works based on direction. So whenever we use a container, we need to add flex direction. So what are the options we have? Either we can select row or horizontal, or either we can select column or vertical, right? If we select row or horizontal, then main axis will also be horizontal. The opposite, the cross axis, will be vertical. Similarly, if flex direction is set to vertical, then main axis will also be vertical and cross axis will be horizontal, right? This is the three things, the three concepts that you need to understand before we proceed to our next video, right? That's it. You don't have to mm, get confused or anything here, right? It is as simple as that. First thing is that we have learned here is how to add container. Either you can use this plus symbol, or you can just drag and drop this particular widget into the editing zone, right? That's it. Your container will be added. And the second thing is theory concept that we have learned is flex direction, flex main axis and cross axis, right? So this is clear. Perfect. So let's move on to our next video and understand why are these three things important: flex direction, main axis, cross axis, or what exactly those are, why we need to learn, why we learned this in the first video, right? So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video, right? Thank you.